Rick Smith has made a life of beekeeping. When it comes to bees, he's the local expert and loves sharing the honey straight from the frame.
It actually has granules of sugar in it because this has been stored all winter, honey granulates.
Ooh, it's really
Naturally.
sweet.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
This
Nick,
is probably...
I have to, I guess. I don't have a choice.
Minus a little wax, it was pretty good.
This is pretty much cotton honey.
So for each different crop that these come from, does it taste a little different?
It does.
But it's not all about the honey.
Probably one of the greatest misunderstandings today is that beekeeping exists to produce honey, where really honey production has and will not support the industry as you see it today with white boxes and trucks and the such. It's really the pollination provides the major source of income for every beekeeper.
And in the Yuma Valley, those bees are hard at work because our crops need lots of pollinators.
The pollination is usually measured by colonies per acre. Okay. And every crop has its own specific needs, usually dependent upon how many flowers they have to set, how many visits that flower requires to make a quality seed. This year I think there's about somewhere between 4,000 to 6,000 acres of cantaloupes in the Yuma area, and probably watermelons a little on top of that. And those range from 1 to 2 hives or 2.5 hives per acre.
And the bees have to be right on time.
Most flowers are usually 1 to 2 days. It's very fast.
So it has to be very calculated on when those bees are in.
Pollinators have to be there at the right time, the right place, and then we have all the variables of weather and wind and such.
But the bees have their needs too.
The pollen is their protein and vitamin source, and the nectar is their carbohydrate source.
So 3 types of controlled bees pollinate the crops, and they all have their specialty.
But bumblebees are mainly the eastern bumblebee that's managed and brought in primarily for greenhouses. And honeybees, again, move lots of pollens and do lots of visits, which a lot of flowers require more than one visit to produce a good seed or a good fruit.
And last but not least, the leafcutter bees.
They do a really good job of pollinating alfalfa seed. That's their niche here.
These bees are a little different than what people typically think of bees.
They don't sting, so to speak. Like we all know honeybees are a little more defensive, but honeybees have honey to protect.
Right.
So everything likes honeybee colonies, from foxes and skunks to people and bears.
So without the honey, they have a different home life too.
They nest similar to honeybees, only that they're individual bees. And you can see that those bees have rolled up. They've rolled up leaves. They actually go out and cut that and then roll it up. That becomes their cell that they take and place the pollen and the egg in, and that's how they reproduce.
So the circle of life continues, and the crops continue to get pollinated.
A bee or a pollinator has to physically move that pollen from one side of the row to the adjacent row. And so, I mean, it physically wouldn't happen without a pollinator.
This Homegrown segment is brought to you by the University of Arizona, Yuma.